Hey guys, welcome back to Over the Surface. We are officially on episode 9. Woo! I knew the episode because I'm up to date, finally. How was my day today? Franny, how was your day today? My day was so great. My day has been actually really great today. I went to a work event this morning, got home, I ate lunch, I made myself a tuna sandwich. I love tuna. I've been on this tuna kick. I don't know why. A lot of people look at me like, ugh, you are disgusting. But I just have such a soft spot for tuna. I will literally make myself, okay, this might be disgusting to some people, but I will make myself a hard boiled egg, put some salt and pepper on it, and make myself a tuna salad and put like mayo, avocado, tomato, red onion with like garlic powder. I just make this tuna salad and I eat it with my hard boiled egg and apples, and it's so good. Or I'll make myself a tuna sandwich like I did today. But yeah, guys, I'm a bit of a tuna fiend recently. It's kind of nasty. Also, I decided that it's officially time to get back into the gym. I haven't hit the gym in God knows how long. I was in Europe, right, for 2 weeks. I've been back for 2 weeks. It's been a month. I probably haven't hit the gym in about 2 months. And I think it's officially time to get back to it. I haven't really been motivated to work out. I don't know why. It's just not really been at the top of my priority list. But I really need to start. You know, winter's coming around. I need to start shredding up. Shredding up. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I really need to get into that. I feel like Hot Girl Fall has took a turn, and Hot Girl Fall might be Hot Girl Winter now. Give or take. You never know. I'm banking that I'm going to be super shredded and hot in the winter time, but probably not. Someone the other day, what did they say to me? Someone the other day was like, oh, yeah, like I'm staying away from alcohol because I want to get my abs back. And I was like, ugh, I don't like that energy. I'm not there yet. I want to have my glass of wine and enjoy it and not think about abs. So I'm not there yet, but I know I got to be. I know I got to start getting my ass to the gym. But speaking of Hot Girl Fall, I made a TikTok about this and I need to tell you guys. If you like pumpkin spice things, if you like pumpkin spice lattes, I am not a big go out, grab coffee girly. I will if I'm out and about and I'm really needing one, or if a friend invites me to coffee, I'll go grab a coffee. Why not? But if I can just make it at home, I will always make it at home. Anyways, if you like pumpkin spice, don't buy pumpkin spice creamer. Buy pumpkin spice coffee. I got a pumpkin spice coffee from Whole Foods. It's the 365 brand. So good. And then I put the Chobani creamer, the sweet cream creamer. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. I think maybe because the pumpkin and cinnamon is just like infused into the coffee, and the sweetness just doesn't overpower it. Like you can put as much sweetness as you want, a little dab, a lot, and that pumpkin flavor is just still so much there. Sorry, I'm like ranting about the most random shit about food and how I want to be shredded, but not really. I'm thinking about my reflections on the week, actually. You know, let's dive into that, because I did want to talk about things that I reflected on during the week, and I actually came up with two reflections that, or just like two things I thought about that were a bit of a deeper thought. First thing was the idea of fate. I don't know why, but recently fate has been such a prominent thought in my mind. I don't know why. I've been thinking a lot about everything happens for a reason. You're meant to be where you're at for a reason. You got to where you're at for a reason. And every little moment or every little thing that has happened in your life has led you to that moment. And it's just crazy how one little thing, if it went a different way, if you took a different direction, how different your life would be. I don't know, I've been thinking about that a lot. So I guess food for thought for that, you know, just thinking about every little thing. Don't like go and spiral about it. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a good thing. You know, how even every bad thing that's happened in your life has probably led you to a good thing. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about. Like, wow, you know, it kind of sucks. Like this happened, this happened, this happened. But if it didn't happen, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now, type of thing. So that's like the rabbit hole I've been in this past week. Also, I saw someone comment on a video. It was a comment that popped up at the top on my YouTube creator app. And I try not to look at the comments too much because the questions are there, but sometimes I can't help it, you know. But I saw a comment pop up and I forgot who said it. It was in my most recent video. But, oh, also, Henry's right here if you haven't noticed, and he just has to be attached to me at all times. So he's just going to be moaning and groaning. Is that right? Is that right, Bubba's? Anyways, I saw this comment and it said something along the lines of people think like the grass is greener on the other side. And there was something else that happened to me this past week that made me think about that as well. So when I saw that comment, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I started thinking about it a lot. And it really is crazy how people, which I mean, I am guilty of it too, really do believe the grass is greener on the other side. I mean, I think it comes down to also with like relationships, right? People have said you might be with someone that is giving you 80% of what you want, but you're like fiending or yearning for that other 20%. And then you go finding that other 20%. And then you're like, oh my God, now I don't have that 80%. And it's kind of like beggars can't be choosers. You want your cake, but you want to eat it too type of situation. And I think reading that made me just kind of take a step back and just think, you know what, I really need to be grateful for what I have. And sometimes I feel like I want something so badly, or like, I'm like, oh, but what if like I did this instead, or if I did this, or if I did this, or if I jumped the gun to do this. And I really thought about, you know what, I might think that jumping that line is going to make me 100% happy, but probably not. I probably think, oh my God, the grass is greener on the other side. And then I'm going to get there. And I know that it's probably not going to be. So that was a reflection I had this week that I thought a lot about, that I was like, I want to talk about this on the podcast, because the fact that something happened that made me think about that, and then I saw the comment, felt like a sign. So food for thought with that as well. Oh, actually, I wanted to share with you guys the book that I'm reading currently. It's Sally Rooney's Intermezzo. I read 2 of her other books before. I've read Normal People and I've read Friends with Conversations. And I love those 2 other novels. They're so good. So I knew that I would love this one. But yeah, guys, this book is so good. I'm a little past halfway, and the character development in this is really, really insane. I've never read a book like this before. So I definitely 10 out of 10 recommend. It is like a romance novel based around grief, which is really interesting. And like I said, I've never read anything like it before. So yeah, it's such a good book. So I've been reading every day for the last couple of weeks, and it's really been great for me. I have started just segueing from just doom scrolling, which I call it doom scrolling because you're literally scrolling on the internet till you hit your doom, basically till you're like, oh my God, I've consumed so much content, I can't literally mentally retain any more of it. And I've noticed just from reading every day, I have gotten so much more creative, if that makes sense. I feel like I've had more of a clear mind, being able to really sit down and think of creative ideas for social media. I think when I'm consuming so much content, I freak out about it. I'm like, oh, like this is terrible. I don't know what to do. Should I do this because this girl did this? Should I do this because she did that? I don't know. My brain goes a million miles per hour when I'm constantly on social media. So the fact that I've really segued into just reading every day has helped me so much. And like I said, I think even reading just like fun fictional novels kind of separates me from the real world for a little bit. I don't know if that's good or not, but I just love that it takes me into a completely different world that doesn't exist, and I can just kind of be submersed into that. social media is very real and it's just like can be too much sometimes. So anyways, 10 out of 10 recommend reading every day. I know that's probably something that people have told me to do a lot in the past, and or not even tell me things that I've read, like, oh, this is so good, or read self-help books or whatever, but it really has helped me a lot. So yeah, if you're kind of in like a rut, just start reading. Like I said, I go through phases where I'm like constantly reading and then like I'll stop and then I kind of get back into it. But I really am making it a point to pick up a book every day and finish it, which I've really been loving recently. Okay, so since this book is about grief, I came across a quote blurb on the internet by a writer. Her name goes by Rainbow Salt on Instagram. She's really big on Instagram. Her name's Bianca, and she just writes such amazing self-help, loving, just quotes and poems and all of that stuff. Like, she's just so good at it, and I've been following her for a while. But anyways, she posted a reel, and just the words on the reel said, "Grief is proof that you loved well." And I read that, and I think because, like I said, I was reading this book, it really like stuck to me. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's true. I think just when you lose something, when you lose someone, whether that, is someone because of, someone passing away, or you lose someone because of a friendship breakup or a relationship breakup or whatever it may be, grief really is proof that you loved someone. And it's not something to be ashamed of, because it just shows how much you can love. I think I've said this before. I think, to be able to love someone so much is just something so beautiful. And I'm going to read her first little like paragraph that she has on the caption about it. And she goes, "We will all experience grief in this lifetime. At some point, every single one of us is going to be obliterated by loss. It is the price we pay for loving, for allowing ourselves to care deeply for things in this world that are, for allowing ourselves to care deeply for things in this world that are finite and momentary. That is the covenant. That is the cost." So if you love, it's inevitable. You are going to experience grief, but it is proof that you can love, and it's possible to love, someone or something. So anyways, I really loved that. I really, really loved that quote of hers that she wrote. But yeah. So anyways, let's jump in to the main event, the question of the evening, which I get nervous about because I don't know what it's going to be. All right, let's take a sip of my coffee. Gosh, just never gets old. I get nervous that I'm going to drink coffee in the middle of the day and I'm not going to be able to sleep. I think I've outgrown that, or I don't know. I don't think it affects me, but growing up, I remember my mom always being like, don't drink coffee past noon, or don't drink Coke or something past whatever. It's going to keep you up, too much sugar. And now I'm scared, because nothing worse than trying to fall asleep and you just are restless. Oh, it's the worst. I was a little restless last night, which sucks. So I'm a little groggy, but it's fine. All right, let's just get into it. Let's get right to it. Sorry, Henry. He doesn't like those noises. Okay, here we go. All right. Where are you today with your relationship with food? Have you healed it? Do you feel pressured? How do you maintain the weight off, stay in shape? Okay. I don't think I've talked a lot about food. I don't really remember. I don't have really a great memory, but I'll dive into it. All right. Like I said, I'll always do like section per section, because there's always a couple of questions that correlate to like the subject. Before I jump into this question, a disclaimer. I am not a health professional. I am not I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not, I everything I say is for me, based on me. And I always say this before talking about anything that has to do with, you know, body image or food or any, because I know food can be a really sensitive topic for people. So I just want to start off by saying that I'm not a professional. Everything that I have done has just been kind of through trial and error and what I've found works best for me. I think the best way to talk about all of this is kind of my journey with food from the moment it kind of started affecting me to now, because I feel like if I start going all over the place, there's going to be so many spots missing and things missing. So anyways, I want to start off by saying all of my life I have been a very active person. I mean, when I was, you know, from a toddler to, you know, up until high school, I was very active. I was always doing sports. I ate whatever I want. I was never in the position of feeling like I needed to watch what I was eating. I always was very thin growing up. And I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with your genes and metabolism. So that was never a worry for me. I started, you know, experiencing weight gain when I moved to LA. And there was a couple of reasons. First of all, I wasn't really taking care of myself that well. I was neglecting my body. I wasn't really working out that much. But the biggest thing was I actually found out I had a thyroid issue. And I remember going to the doctor in New Jersey back home this is when I was living in LA. I went back home to visit and I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me that I had a thyroid issue. And the doctor was actually very concerned. He was nervous that it was going to get a lot worse because I was also putting a lot of stress on myself. I was living out in LA at 18 years old. I was barely making any money. I was trying to find a job. I was working. So the doctor was like, I don't think this is the best thing for you right now because you're getting really sick from it. And obviously I didn't want to hear that. So I was having a lot of thyroid issues. I gained a lot of weight. I think it was a lot of water retention. Everything I ate inflamed me. And by no means was I ever like ridiculously big. I never felt like I was overweight. I just couldn't recognize myself. It was just like a really weird thing. I don't know. I didn't really recognize myself when I started gaining the weight. And I didn't feel good about myself either. I think that's like the biggest thing, is the fact that I didn't feel good about anything myself, and I'll get into that. Anyways, then, you know, unfortunately, an eating disorder kind of started developing. I was living in LA. I was surrounded by so many beautiful people, very thin people, a lot of people that, you know, were in shape, looked good. And the fact that I never really was bigger, it kind of worried me a little bit. I gained about 30 pounds. It was a lot of weight for me alone. And yeah, I started really restricting myself from eating, and I would binge eat then. I would restrict calories. It was really bad for a couple of years. I was in a really bad mindset when it came to anything with carbs or sugar. I thought, oh my gosh, I can't. Like, I'm not allowed to have sugar or carbs. That's like what my mindset was. And it was scary. I felt like if I ate a cookie or if I chewed on a piece of bread, like the world was over. So yeah, it was really, really bad at one point. And it was kind of hard because I mean, I didn't really talk to anyone about it. I kind of just was doing it. Honestly, only like my close friends know this, but it was to the point when I was working at Toast Bakery Cafe, I would starve myself all day, and then they would always give me cupcakes to take home with me, and I would go to my car and I would eat like 5 cupcakes in one sitting because I was like so deprived of it. I would like binge a whole thing of cupcakes, and then I felt like absolute shit after. It was just really hard. It was really, really hard. And honestly, I finally got out of that horrible mindset. And keep in mind, I was working out. I was really trying when it came to working out, but there was just something wrong with my body. Like I probably had just a lot of deficiencies, and I just didn't really know what to do. I was also young. I was like, 21, 22. I kind of really got out of this horrible mindset and relationship with food was when my mom moved to LA. I lived with my mom and my dad for a couple years out here when they moved, and my mom helped me get on vitamins, and she was helping me with, like, she was cooking for me every day. So it was really helpful having her here because she was able to kind of help me balance my lifestyle a lot more when it came to food. And she's always been very health conscious. Like, she's very into health, and she's really good with all that stuff with vitamins. So it was really nice to have her. I also started seeing a personal trainer very consistently at that point too. I was seeing a trainer 3 days out of the week, and then I was just doing other things for myself throughout the week, like either running or hiking. And it finally got to a point where I had to really get over the idea of what I looked like, and I really had to just accept my body for what it was with a healthy lifestyle. I think once I really like took in that thought, I was able to find peace with myself when it came to my relationship with food, because my mom always said this. My mom was like, she's always said this about herself. She's like, I'm not a supermodel. Like, I don't need to look like a supermodel. So, like, I'm going to enjoy my life, you know? And I'm like, you're right. I mean, you know, obviously if you're a supermodel and you have to look a certain way, then yeah, I get it. You probably are a lot more health conscious about what you're eating. Or, sorry, what? Did that make sense? You know, you're probably a lot more cautious about what you're eating or your diet, or, you know, and that's a whole other conversation. But for me personally, like, I don't need to look like that. I just need to look the way I'm supposed to look with a healthy lifestyle. And that's just kind of going into more of like intuitive eating, just eating what your body wants and what it's craving. I was on a paleo diet for so long, which means, you know, no carbs, no sugar, and that like really fucked up my head about food. So I'm really against diets unless you have to be on one for health reasons. I literally think diets are absolutely ridiculous. I think they're so dumb. And sorry for anybody who's going to come at me for that. I think they just cause severe issues with relationships with food, I guess is what I'm trying to say. When you start restricting yourself and you start trying to look a certain way, it just really fucks with you. Anyways, sorry, I'm all over the place, and I'm hoping that this is all making sense. But anyways, I finally was like, okay, I need to accept that I'm not going to look like this. I need to just eat 3 meals a day or whatever, eating, you know, rice with chicken and veggies, you know, making sure I'm having my veggies, making sure I'm having my water, making sure I'm sleeping, my fruit, and then that's fine. And then once I kind of started transitioning my mindset into that, it just started getting a lot easier. I started seeing the weight shed off of me. I started, you know, feeling so much better about myself, because instead of constantly, and this is a whole psychological thing, instead of thinking all of those negative reinforcements of, I can't have this, I can't do this, I can't have this, your brain literally goes into panic mode. Like, oh my gosh, like, I can't have this, I can't. So if you have it, you feel bad about like yourself, like with no if or what's about it. You feel so bad about yourself if you eat something that you're not allowed to have, right? So when you start switching that mindset to positive reinforcements, like positive things, and you just start thinking about the things you need to be eating every day, oh my gosh, it just makes life so much easier. I just make it a point. I tell myself, try to eat fruit, veggies, drink your water, sleep, and vitamins throughout the day. Eat whatever you want, but just try to make sure you're implementing those things into your diet every day. And then also on top of that, find a workout style that works best for you. I think that's the best thing too, is, you know, you don't have to be doing those crazy workouts that people are doing online. If it means you're going on just a couple hikes throughout the week, or you're doing at-home workouts with some light weights, whatever feels great for you, as long as you're moving your body and being active, I think that's all that matters. Have you healed it? Yeah, I really do think I've healed my relationship with food. I don't know. Sometimes I will get over, to be completely transparent with you guys. Like I'm that this is just me saying my truth, but yeah, food does still overwhelm me sometimes, but not as much as it did. And I don't deprive myself from eating food. Let's say I ate a ton of cookies one day, right? And I'm like, ugh, I feel like too much. Like I ate too many cookies. The next day, maybe I'll just have one. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. I guess it's not even more of a mindset of like, I can't have it. It's more of like, I just got sick of it. So maybe that's just why I get overwhelmed when I get like, when it's just too much. I don't know if that's something has to do with the past, with my relationship with food. That's why I feel that way sometimes when I have too much of something. The next day I like kind of don't even want to look at it. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I think it is healed to an extent. I think I just have to, you know, navigate it as it comes. I feel like when you struggle with something like that for a good portion of your life, it does appear over and over. Like it's going to appear over and over again. I don't think it disappears and you never have to deal with it again. It will appear in your life again. It's just really how you handle it. I just kind of take a deep breath and I'm like, you're good. You're good. It's fine. You know, you don't have to freak out because there's a piece of bread in front of you. A lot easier said than done, but I feel like I'm proof of that because I couldn't even look at it when I was going through my no carb phase, I guess, and sugar phase. And no, I don't really feel any pressure to, I don't really know what that means. Do you feel pressured? I mean, whatever it is, I don't feel pressure at all with any sort of relationship with food or working out anymore, which is nice. I don't feel like I have to keep up a diet. I don't feel like I have to keep up a workout. If I stay out of the gym for a couple months and then I get back to it, I don't feel pressure that I have to do it. Like I said, I just try to implement a healthy lifestyle and make it easy for me to keep up with. You know, if you are a busy person, don't make your life harder than it has to be, and put a workout in your life that you're like, ugh, this is the last thing I want to do, because that's going to last a month and then you're not going to want to do it anymore. So just implement something that makes sense for you. How do you maintain the weight off? I mean, the weight just stays off because I think I just am intuitively eating and just have a healthy lifestyle. Like I said, you just have to pick a healthy lifestyle and just stick to it. And I think your body will just stay the same, or, you know, if you're working out a lot more, you'll probably cut a little more or whatever, but you will ultimately just keep the weight off. Like I said, if you start thinking about the things you should be having and focusing on that, I don't know. I think it's just, life is all about balance. And my mom has always said that. Everything in life is about balance. When you start doing extremes and things, I just really think it steers you in the wrong direction. And then you either get over it, it's not attainable, you don't want to do it anymore. And I will say, I didn't say this, and I will say this because it was a big factor in my weight loss. But when I will say, when I am extremely stressed out, or when I am extremely anxious, or when I was going through my breakups, when I experienced loss, like any sort of extreme life altering moment for me, I don't eat. And I will say that when I went through a breakup a couple years ago, I was the thinnest I was in a really, really long time. Like it was bad. It was to the point where I almost had to be hospitalized from how thin I was. And I had to figure it out. But that had nothing to do with not wanting to eat. It's just I physically could not eat. I couldn't even hold down anything, just because of the anxiety that was in me and the stress that was in me. And obviously I lost such a significant amount of weight and I gained it back. Luckily, I gained back my weight. But yeah, I mean, I go through moments in my life where I do lose a significant amount of weight because of the stress I'm going through. But like I said, I do find my way back to my healthy lifestyle and I do gain my weight back. But that also affects, what I look like ultimately. And I'm not saying that I get happy about that because trust me, it's just so funny. You like tell yourself like, "Oh, I want to be thin. I want to look like this." And then you get that thin and I remember looking at myself and I didn't even like how I looked. I don't know what it was. I looked at myself and I was like I was in photos like people took photos of me and I didn't even recognize myself and I also was like, "Ugh." So even when I was at my thinnest, I didn't even like how I looked. And then when I was at my heaviest, I didn't like how I looked because in both of those phases I wasn't healthy. I wasn't healthy at all. It was just bad that made me look like those things. So I think when you have that healthy lifestyle and you implement it and then you see a photo of yourself, you're like, "Wow, I look good actually. I look fine. I look happy." I think that's also a big thing is just the inside. Like, how do you feel inside? Do you feel good? Do you feel great? Like, are you able to, feel good about yourself and exercise and go and do this? It's just a lot. I hope that this made any sort of sense for you guys. I think it did. I feel like I went a little all over the place. And since I don't really prep, I just kind of ramble, but I think I answered. Just let's do a little recap, right? I have just implemented healthy lifestyle, intuitive eating. I think about the things I should be eating. I don't think about the things I shouldn't be eating. And I pick a workout that makes sense for my lifestyle. And that's really it. Try to be active a couple days out of the week. If I can be more, 100%, because I've been active all my life. So, yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this question. I know it was a little bit of a deeper topic. I mean, I feel like all the topics are kind of deep, but I like I said, I know a conversation around food and eating disorders and stuff can be kind of heavy. And it used to be heavy for me. It used to be a heavy conversation for me, but I mean, now not so much anymore. So I hope whoever listened to this, I hope that this does give you some sort of strength to know that if you are going through anything similar, it's impossible to get out of it and to have a healthy lifestyle or have a healthy relationship with food. It's 110% possible. I'm living proof of that. But sometimes you do need help, and don't be afraid to ask people for help. That was one thing that I didn't do. I never asked for help because I kind of felt ashamed of it and I didn't know how to go about it. But always ask for help. Always, always ask for help. You're never here alone. I promise you that. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I guess I'll leave it at that. Don't forget to ask me questions down below. I'm always refilling up the bowl. We're refilling it. We're getting new questions going. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next episode. I love you. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Hope you guys had an amazing week. I love you. And yeah, I'll see you next week. I love you. Bye.